Warzone 2 is finally here, and I'm going to be giving you guys some of the best loadouts that you can use in Season 1. The primary weapons that I am going to be going over is going to be assault rifles and SMGs, and there's going to be a couple LMGs in there as well that I think will be pretty good. And for those of you that like to camp on mountains and snipe, I'm also going to be giving you guys some class setups as well, so be sure to stick around for that. Anyways, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and jump into this video right now for you guys. I hope you guys do enjoy it and have a great rest of your day, and peace out. So some of the assault rifles that I think are going to be the most viable in Warzone 2 is going to be the M4A1, the TAC 56, the Lockman 556, and lastly, I think the Cast-Off 545 is going to have a good chance of being really good as well. Now I'm going to go ahead and get you guys some class setups on these weapons right now. All right, so the class setup for the M4A1, this is going to involve tuning as well. It's going to be the high tower 20-inch barrel, the Harbinger D20 suppressor, the demo IMP 44 grip, the 60 round magazine, and the VOK 4.0 optic. Now this is going to be the tuning for the barrel, so what you're going to want to do is go ahead and go up to plus 0.5 for the recoil steadiness, and then max out the damage range up to plus 0.4. The tuning for the Harbinger D20 suppressor is going to be recoil smoothness as well, boost that all the way up to the max, and also boost the bullet velocity up to the max as well. For the underbarrel tuning, you're going to keep the weight at 0.0, and then the aiming idle stability is going to go up to plus 0.4. And last but not least, for the 4.0 optic, you're going to make your ADS speed the fastest it can be, so move that to -3. And then for eye position, you're going to make this far so you can see further, since this is your long range weapon. All right, so moving on to the TAC 56 with the attachments is going to be the 14.5 inch Tundra Pro barrel, and on the SCAR we're going to be using the same exact suppressor that we were using on the M4, and we're going to put on the 60 round magazine. And then for the rear grip, we're going to put on the FSS combat grip. This is going to help you with the recoil control. And last but not least, we're going to be putting on the VOK 4.0 optic, and this attachment is going to help a lot with the visual recoil. So on the weight side, we're going to have the recoil steadiness up to plus 0.5, and then for the damage range on the length, we're going to have plus 0.4. And then as for the muzzle, we're going to have the recoil smoothness all the way maxed out, and we're going to have the bullet velocity maxed out as well. And then for the rear grip, the FSS combat grip, we're going to have the recoil steadiness maxed out, and then we're going to have the sprint to fire speed all the way slid to the left. And last but not least, the optic tuning is going to be aim down sight speed at -3, and then the eye position is going to be set to -1.35. So moving on to the third AR, which is going to be the Lockman 556. The barrel is going to be the 15.9 inch Lockman wrap barrel, and the tuning that's going to be on this weapon is going to be maxing out the damage range, and we're going to keep the weight at 0.0. The muzzle on the Lockman 556 is going to be the Harbinger D20, just like the other assault rifles. It's going to give you more damage range, more bullet velocity, and there will be recoil smoothness as well. And the tuning on this attachment is going to be -0.09 ounces for the weight, and then the length is going to be 1.00. For the magazine, we're going to be using the 60 round mag, and then for the stock, we're going to be using the LMS Factory G79 stock. The tuning on this is going to be maxing out the ADS speed and maxing out the aim walking speed. And last but not least, we're going to be using the VLK 4.0 optic as well. And the tuning on this is going to be plus 0.97 for the weight, and the tuning for eye position is going to be -1.35. Last but not least, the final AR is going to be the Cast-Off 545. So the barrel, we're going to have the IGK 3406mm, and if you guys do want the tuning, it's going to be right here for you. It's going to be 0.0 weight, and the damage range is going to go up to plus 0.4. The muzzle that we're going to be using is the Harbinger D20, and you're going to max out that bullet velocity, and you're going to max out the recoil smoothness as well. Be sure to put on the 45 round mag, or if you want to just spray the fuck out of enemies, go ahead and put on the 60 round mag as well. The rear grip is going to be the Demo X2 grip. This is going to help with your recoil control as well. And if you would like to tune it, be sure to put the recoil steadiness at the max and put the sprint to fire speed at the max as well. Last but not least, we have the VOK 4.0 optic, and you're going to tune this to your eye position to be far, and the flinch resistance is going to be maxed out as well. And the flinch resistance is going to be maxed out. Alright, so moving on to the submachine guns, I think there's only going to be like 2 really good SMGs in Warzone as of right now. And one of the SMGs is going to be the Mini Bach, which is the PP Bison from Modern Warfare 2019, as you guys know. And then the second SMG is going to be the MP5 from Modern Warfare 2019 as well. This thing is very, very good in multiplayer, so I can definitely see it being really good in Warzone. So let's go ahead and get into these loadouts right now for you. Alright, so the loadout for the Mini Bach in Warzone 2 is going to be the BAK9 279mm barrel, and the tuning on this weapon is going to be 0.0 for the weight, and the aim down sight is going to be -0.40. The muzzle that is going to be used on this weapon is going to be the X10 RR40, and the tuning on this attachment is going to be -1.40 for the aim down sight speed, and we're going to move this all the way up to plus 1.0 for the bullet velocity. The ammunition is going to be 9mm hollow point, and for the tuning, we're going to max the damage range out to 0.7, and for the bullet velocity, we're going to max this out to plus 9 as well. This is going to give you really, really good range on this weapon, even though it's an SMG. So for those close range to mid-range fights, you're going to win a lot of them. Alrighty, for the rear grip, we're going to be using the True Tag grip, and the tuning on this is going to be recoil steadiness maxed out, and the sprint to fire speed will be maxed out as well. And then for the stock, we're going to use the Marquis R7 stock, and the tuning on this attachment is going to be aim down sight speed maxed out. We're just going to leave the length at 0.0. Alright, so moving on to the LMG section, I really think there's just going to be 1 or 2 LMGs that are going to be really solid, and I think that's going to be the RPK and the 5.5 Icarus. So let's go ahead and give you these builds right now. So for the RPK, we're going to go ahead and use a TAC 597 barrel, and the tuning is going to be recoil steadiness, and we're going to max out the damage range as well. And for the muzzle, we're going to go ahead and use the ZLR Talon 5, and the tuning on this attachment is going to be recoil smoothness maxed out at 1.4, and then the bullet velocity will velocity maxed out at +1. Now, if you guys do want to use ammunition, I either recommend high velocity or I'm going to recommend hollow point to you as well. But for this video, we're going to go ahead and tune the high velocity ammunition. So we're going to bump the damage range all the way up to 0.7, and we're going to bump up the bullet velocity all the way to 9. So for the stock, we're going to use the ProLite TL3 stock, and the tuning on this attachment is going to be -2.4 for the aim walking speed, and the aim down sight speed is going to be set to -4, so we're going to have the fastest ADS on this gun. And last but not least, the VLK 4.0 optic. This is going to be the sight you're going to be running on most ARs and most LMGs. So we're going to max out the aim assist at -3, and we're going to make our eye position -1.35 to see further. And last but not least, for the LMGs, this is the 5.56 Icarus, and the attachments that we're going to use on this is the FTAC Cold Forge 16-inch barrel, and the tuning on this is going to be maxing out the recoil steadiness at +0.5 and the damage range at +0.4. So for the muzzle, we're going to use the Harbinger D20, which was used on the assault rifles as you saw before, and the tuning on this is actually going to be the exact same. We're going to put the aim down sight to -1.4 and the bullet velocity maxed out at 1. And then the tuning for the ammunition, which is high velocity, we're going to go ahead and put the bullet velocity to the max at 9 and the damage range at max at +0.7. And then for the rear grip, we're going to use the Socken ZX grip, and the tuning on this bad boy is going to be aim down sight speed at sprint to fire speed, all maxed out. And as you saw before, for the VOK 4.0 optic, we're going to be using aim down sight speed and eye position set to far. All right, and last but not least, for the sniper rifles, we're only going to be using one sniper rifle in Warzone on Al Mazrah, and this is going to be the MCPR 300. So the attachments on this gun is going to be the 22-inch OMX 4.56 barrel, and for the tuning, we're going to leave this at 0.0 and set the ADS all the way to -0.4 since the damage range is going to be very high already. And then for the muzzle, we're going to use the Nil Sound 90, and then the tuning on this attachment is going to be -1.4 for the aim down sight, and then the bullet velocity is going to be set to 1.0. And then for the ammunition, you're actually going to be using the .300 Magnum, and what this attachment is going to do for you is going to help you do more damage at long range. And then for the rear grip, you're going to use the Cronin Cheetah grip. The tuning on this is going to be 1.0 for the recoil steadiness, and the sprint to fire is going to be -0.45. And last but not least, for the optic, we're going to go ahead and use the SZ Heat Source 800. Like I said before, you guys that sit on mountains, this is perfect for you, and hopefully you end up using this class on Al Mazrah, and let me know what you think about it.
Way too often, I can't play these games, think I'm switching up the